Okay, I finished the base and we're now ready to start on the sides, and I just wanted to show you how to start that off. There's a couple of things if you've not done this before. Working in back loops only, and that is a good method for making the sides of bags and things like that, because it's a very definite change of direction, sort of 90-degree change of direction. It gives a nice line around the bottom, or make it sort of sit nice and straight. So it's a lovely way to work. So I've got my birch yarn to start with, got my hook obviously, and we'll also be using our stitch marker. We've worked in the round in a continuous spiral in the centre, but when we're working up the sides, we're going to work and close each round, which means closing each round with a slip stitch. So it's a little bit different. So let's have a look at that as well. Right, I'm going to start with a slip stitch. So what I'm going to do is put a slip knot on my hook. And we can start in any stitch at all around. So normally I'd put my hook under the V of the stitch, under both legs like that, wouldn't I? But we're working back loops only. So we're going to just go under one loop. Before we start that, just make sure that you've got the right side of the base facing you. Not going under both legs, as I've just said. We're going to go just under the back leg, so the leg that's furthest away from you on that stitch, just under that one only. So you're kind of going into the centre of the stitch and just having the one strand of the stitch over the hook. I'm then going to, so I've got my slip knot on the hook, and I'm just going to pick up the yarn, bring it through that back leg of the stitch and through the slip knot. Okay, so that's now, don't know where to put the yarn. That is securely joined, it's not going anywhere, and we're ready to start our round. Okay, so we've started with 78 stitches. Do give it a count, make sure you've got the right amount. We're going to be increasing our stitch count now up to 99. So there's some increases happening, and we just need to be aware of that as we go. So just keep that in the back of your head at the moment. But for now, our yarn is joined and we're ready to go. So we're going to chain one and put a double crochet into the stitch right where we are now. This is just really to get us going. This is stitch number one. Now at the moment I am not going to place a stitch marker because it will be very evident as we come around the centre here. It will be at the outside of the centre. It will be very evident if we've worked a stitch or haven't, because we're kind of it's our first round. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. We'll use it in second and subsequent rounds. So we've got one double crochet in that stitch there. Don't forget we're working UK terminology. And I'm just going to move along to the next stitch and go in the back loop only again. And what I'm doing is I'm just crocheting over the end as I go, so that'll take care of that. Okay, so just the back loop only. So I've now worked 2 double crochet, and I think we do an increase now. Let's have a look. Work one, yes. So now we're going to do an increase. We're going to do 2 into 1, but we're still just working back loops only. Okay, and you will see after I do a few more stitches the little line that I was telling you about. So we've gone 1 and 1 and now 2. Okay, and we're now going to work into our repeat. So our repeat is going to be 3 double crochet increase, 2 double crochet increase. Okay, so 3 double crochet increase, 2 double crochet increase, and the increase is just putting 2 stitches into the 1. So here we go with the 3 double crochets. 1, and that's 2, and that's 3. And the increase is putting the 2 into 1, as I've said. And I'm crocheting over that end as I go. So that's taken care of. Now I'm not, that's, sorry, 3, and now there's the 2 double crochet increase. I just want to stop there so you can see what's happening here. I've got this line, and what this line is, it's the unworked loops of the stitches. So we're only working in the back loops. These are the front loops just left unworked, and that's what creates this really nice ridge around the bottom. I love this. It's a really nice, very decorative, very practical technique. Right, so sorry, that was the 3 and then the increase, and now we're going to do the 2 and then the increase, and that is all you're going to be doing all the way around the base here. So I shall go off and complete that. So 3 and then increase, 2 and then increase, 3 and then increase, 2 and then increase all the way around. Let me go off and do that and I'll meet you at the end. Right, I've completed the 10 repeats all the way around. I've just done a very quick stitch count check and I know I've got the right amount now when I've added the last few on. So you do your 10 repeats and then you're closing this first round by, well, closing out the first round by doing just 5 individual double crochet in the last 5 stitches. So I'm now back to the beginning, and this is where the closed round comes in, because we're not working in a spiral. As I said, we're closing that round off, and how we're going to do that is just putting a slip stitch into this first stitch that we made. Okay, and that is now a closed round. So I'll just move my stitch to one side. As we work this now, as we work subsequent rounds, the edges are going to fold up beautifully. And you will see, if I fold that edge up, you can see that line that I told you about with those unworked, the unworked loops of the stitches. And as you work up the side of your duffel bag, that will be more pronounced. You will have a very definite sort of nice flat surface at the bottom to stand the duffel on. Now I'm not going to go through all the rounds with you. I just want to show you how to treat the stitch marker when you're working closed rounds. And then I'm going to leave you until round 6 and we'll just have a look at how to do the bobbles. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going back to working both legs of the stitch. So we're not working back loops only, ignore what I just did there. We're not working back loops only, we're back to working normally now up the side of the duffel bag. Okay, so I'm now starting round 2. So I'm going to make 1 chain as normal, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet into the same stitch where that has just come out. So you can sort of see this stitch where I'm sort of there. That's where I'm going to put my first double crochet. And what I do is I'm going to mark that with my stitch marker as the first stitch I've made. Okay, I'm going to mark that. Now when I work all the way around, and at this point we're just working one double crochet in each stitch all the way around, when I get back there and close the round with the slip stitch as I've just done, I'm going to take that stitch marker out, make the first stitch of the next round and then put it back in again so I know where I am. Okay, so I'll be moving that into the first stitch of the round each round every time I work around. That's all that closing the round is, and that will just help you keep a note of where you are. It can sometimes be a little bit tricky to see where the rounds begin and end, so move that stitch marker up each time you close the round. So we're just working round now as normal under both legs of the stitches, and you can do that double crochet, no problem at all. So there's nothing fancy schmancy at all until we get to round 6, where we're going to work a bobble. So I will come back and talk to you about bobbles for round 6.